Guys, very good morning to all of you. Welcome to the video number 393. My name is Ajay, and in this video today we are going to work on a project where I will be telling you that if you are in a requirement of compiling the data from the different folders and from the different files, and then you want to compile all that data and put it in one Excel workbook, then how to do that. So this is big task for us, and we are going to use the Excel VBA of course for this, and I'm going to show you that how you can use the file dialog and the file system object class, and this will look pretty simple once we make this code, right? So if you're watching the channel for the first time, then guys, we have 393 videos as on date on Excel VBA, MS Access and Access VBA. What you need to do is you need to click on this playlist, and you will find here 44 different playlists which I have created, right? So as you can see, every video, every title actually has some videos, and when you click on that, you will find there the videos. Some are the very basic level videos, some are intermediate, and some are very advanced, right? Now this is extremely going to be advanced stuff. I'm not going to talk much on the basics of it. If you want to understand what is the file system object, how to work with the folders, how to pull out the files from the any folder, whether the folder is created on your desktop or on your D drive, any drive, then you need to watch these 10 videos. You click on this, and of course, I mean, no need to watch all the 10 videos, but all the videos you must know. So for example, you should know that how to work with the text files. In this video we are not going to work with the text file, but this is a very important video, you should not miss that. Using collection loops with the text file, this is another one. And if you just scroll up, then this is the one, how to use the file dialog, right? So these are the videos which you should watch before watching this video, right? So going to talk about this now. Let me give you the scenario what exactly we're going to do. So I have actually created this file data validation. This is just any file where I'm going to record the macro, and we will write the macro here, and I'm just going to insert the module here. Now what we want to do is I want to give a file dialog. I want to give a pop-up from where my user can choose the folder, right? So what I'm going to do right now is that on my D drive, if I show you, let me just go to my D drive, and I click on the document, let's say. So here you can see that I have here D drive, and in the D drive I have a folder which is folder 1, and in the folder 1 I have a file A, B and C. If I just show you, here I have some dummy data, and all these files A, B, C, they have the data. We just want to compile this data, we want to copy this data, and we want to paste it in some another file, okay? Or maybe we can paste it in the data validation as well, the file where I'm going to run this macro in this sheet 2. Okay, I can name this as compile as well. This is what we want to do. Now this during this process, I'm not going to make anything static, which means that user can choose any folder, the pop-up will come, right? So we will not go only in the D drive, because in your case you may not have a D drive, right? You're using any other drive as well, and at the same time I want to give many pop-ups, right? So as long as user wants to choose, he can choose all the folders one by one. For example, now we have here the folder 1 option. Now I want to give this option 2 times. For example, I want to populate the 2 pop-ups. So one is this, and the one is this. Test 1, test 2 and test 3. Right? So what you need to do is I just create one more folder on my this desktop, and let's say I name it as Ajay, right? And just move these files here. So these are the 3 files. I want to compile the data from this, and then I want to go to another folder. So 2 basically file dialogs we are going to show right now. File dialog, what is a file dialog? First of all, let us also know that. Now guys, when you actually put the file and open like this, when you click on the open, you get to see basically this. When you click on the browse, you get to see this button, this window, actually not a button, and then you can choose any file which you want to open, right? That's the way you do it. Or maybe you can directly go to the file and double click, right? Control O, the file, in the file option, open. This is also one of the the window we use a lot. And similarly you use for the save as well. If I just want to save this file, then I can use F12, or maybe I can use the save as. This is the another basically dialog box which comes in the form of save as. You can see here save as. So these are the dialog boxes which we can also automate. Okay, I have talked about this in those file dialog, the video which I was just sharing it with you. So in this we will directly go ahead and see that how you can compile the data from the folders where you have all those Excel files stored. So let us go ahead and let us make this pretty awesome code. First thing which you need to do is you need to go to the tool in the reference and you need to on the file system object library, which is Microsoft scripting runtime. Okay, press N, find out where is this Microsoft scripting runtime library. They are all alphabetically sorted out, and you just need to click there, and when you click OK, you will see that it's actually shifted to the top of it, right? Just the next to the your Office 16.0 object library, right? I'm using Outlook Office 2016, that is why you see here 16, but it does not have to do anything with this Microsoft scripting runtime. This would show as it is, the same in your machine as well. So let us go ahead and let us first of all write the macro. So here I'm going to write compile files. So in this video, guys, we are going to do a lot of stuff. For example, what is the first thing you want to do in this particular case? So first of all, what I would like to do is I would like to actually with the file dialog. So I'm going to use the file dialog, okay, which means that in the file dialog also you have the open, you have the save as. I was just showing you that. So we're gonna have the file open button and we're gonna have it 2 times. Okay, so the user will choose the next thing which the user is going to do through these dialog boxes. They're going to choose the folder, right? So here I will have my folder. Folder gets selected by user. Once the user selects that folder, we are going to run the loop, because we want to see that how many Excel files are there, right? Because you never know how many files you have in that folder, right? For me it might be 10, for you it might be 20, it doesn't matter, because then what we are going to do is we're going to open the files and we're going to run the collection loop here. Okay, collection loop, which is going to be for each file in my folder.files, right? This is what exactly the loop we are going to run. So what will happen, all the files will get opened. So in the next step, when this loop is going to run, so we will have all the workbooks getting opened. So you can see that these are basically all the workbooks, bunch of workbooks which are going to be open. Now once these workbooks are getting open, what is the next thing you want to do? Once these workbooks are getting open, then we are going to further run one more loop, and that is going to be work on these the workbooks, right? And that is going to be for each workbook in workbooks, because at that time you will have all these 4 workbooks opened, or 10 workbooks, whatever it is, and then we're going to compile the data, right? Then we will compile the data, and then finally we will close all those workbooks. So that is how this project is all about, right? So this is going to help you a lot. So let us go ahead and let us do this task, and I'm going to put the data maybe here. I just name it as data. Okay, so the first thing which we will do in this video is we're going to create the file dialog. So how are you going to do that? Declare any variable. I'm going to declare FLD as file dialog. This is what you need to use. Set FLD equals to, then you're going to write application dot file dialog, and then what you want to use, do you want to use the file picker, folder picker, open and save as, right? So what exactly you want to do? So what I want to do is I just want to actually use this open one, so that what will happen when I'm going to run this, you just need to show this like this, and what will happen when you're going to run this, basically this pop-up would come, and this is exactly I was talking about, guys. So then let us say select this Ajay, right? I double click here. Now you get to see here all the files. Okay, now you get to see all the files, and which file would you like to open from here? So if I just click open on the test one, then the test one, the workbook will get opened, provided you should write here workbooks.open, and then you're gonna write the file name. okay, whatever the file name it has. So let us say I declare this as Z. So what I will do here, I will create one variable dim Z as string, because files generally they are always in the string. And then what you need to do is you just need to say that whatever the file we have in that the dialog, no, the box should be open, right? So this is how selected items you write, and then you're gonna write here 1. Okay, now again I repeat the same syntax. Now look at this. I'm in this test1 and I open it. What will happen the next time when the code runs, you see that this Z is going to be, show you the exact path of that file, including the name of the file as well. And this is, I have opened it, from my desktop. So you see that it says that C user, and then Acer is my machine name basically, and Ajay is the folder, and under the Ajay folder we have a file called test1. So perfect. So now you can open that file, right? And you see that file is opened as well, right? But I want to ask you one thing. Is that enough for us? Because how many files you are going to open like this? You have three, I have 3 files in that folder if I show you, right? So I can't go ahead and every time I pop up the folder and file dialog and keep getting these files open, because if I have 50 files, I really would not like this option. If somebody's gonna give me 50 pop-ups, man, that's a crap. It's better than I should open all the files one by one, and I start doing the manual work. So this is something we will not do. So what we are going to do is, let us not display the file dialog open. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use the another box, which is folder picker. Because when you use the folder picker, what happens, you will not have access to your Excel files, you will not have your access to the text files. They will only show you the folder, and once you have the folder, you can go ahead and pick up, run the loop for each file in the my folder which I was just showing you, this one, right? So that is why this file dialog open, which I was I have written here, basically this file dialog open is not going to be used. Instead of the open, we are going to use the folder open, the method. Okay, now what will happen if I just run this again? You won't see any difference in the box. This window would come as it is, but guys, look at this. I don't see any Excel file here. If you see that, this is my folder which I just created in the beginning of the video, and there are 3 files in this folder, and none of the file is coming. So I just click OK, because now when I'm gonna run this, look at this, what will happen. This is going to pick up the folder for me. Okay, so now the folder is Ajay, and that is what I'm going to use here. So this line will not work. This is going to give you the error because there is no Excel file which we have retrieved. So we're not gonna use this line here. Okay, now what is the next thing I will do? Well, I have the folder from here, so I will now define my folder. That basically this Z is going to give me the folder name, but then how to set up this folder in the VBA. So we will write here FSO as scripting. Scripting is the class which you're going to use, and if you remember in the beginning, I went to the tool in the reference, and we activated the file scripting library, and that is the reason I'm able to use this. So we're gonna create this file system object. So you write, this is how you can write. And now what will happen, I will declare my folder. So I'm gonna declare my folder as scripting again dot folder. Okay, and the next thing is you will define your folder. So what is your folder? So folder will come from the FSO get folder, right? Now what is a folder? Obviously the folder would be your Z, whatever the folder you will have. Now once you have the folder decided, what is the next thing you want to do? The next thing you want to, my file, I declare one variable as my file, and use this as a the scripting file class. Now you will run here for each my file in folder. What is your folder? Your folder is my file in the files, right? So that's how you write. Now what will happen if I just show you quickly, I'm going to run this as a message box, and if I just write here my file dot name, then it should give me all the file names one by one. So if I just run this quickly, let me show you. So I have the box here, and now let's say in the desktop I selected this Ajay, okay, and I press OK. You can double click it, doesn't make any difference, right? You won't see any Excel file. So if I just click OK, you see that test1 is coming, wow, test2 is coming, and test3 is coming. So it can actually, it is able to access all the files. Now once the files are accessed, I don't want to actually show the message box. Instead of that, I will them open because I want to compile the data from them, right? So this is what you will write, that let us open these files one by one. So if you have 50 files, all the files will get opened. Now guys, once your files get opened, let me show you. First of all, let's just quickly run this code, and you can see in the background I have a data validation. So I select this folder and I click OK. Okay, sorry, we couldn't find the test1.xlsx. Is it possible it was moved, renamed? Okay, so let me see that. What is the issue with this? So it says that test1. All right, so we have a problem here, and you can see that the file name is coming test1.xlsx. And if I just show you this folder, the file is there. There is no doubt in that. The file is there. So what is the issue? So guys, basically the problem is that when you open any file, Excel file, know that you have to give the complete path. Now this is only talking about the file name. This doesn't talk about from where it is coming. So we will have to write the file path as well. So how are we going to do that? In that case, either you can write here C drive and then /users/ whatever username you have, desktop, but I think that is not going to be a good approach, because if you're going to make it as a static code, if you're going to link it with the desktop, who knows, maybe you're not going to pick that from the desktop, right? Maybe if you can pick the folder from the D drive as well. So every time you can't come here and keep on changing the things, right? So what we have to do is we have to make the basically the path as well, the dynamic. So what I will do is, if I just write here message box and I just write here my file dot path, to see what it is going to give us. So I just go ahead and run this. There we go. I select this Ajay, and now I'm gonna click OK, and there we go. Now let me see. So you can see that it says the complete path. And this is what I need, guys, right? In fact, you should not be now using the myfile.name, because .name is going to give you only test1. So why don't we use the myfile.path, because the path is going to give me the complete path along with the file name, right? So if I just comment this line, and now if I run this, I think I should be able to see all the files. You can see here that all the 3 files are opened. Wow, that's wonderful. So this is my test3, this is my test2, and this is my test1. Okay, so similarly you can get these all files open. So what we will do, we will open the 2 dialog boxes basically. So I will declare one more dialog box, which I'm going to name it as FLD1, as again file dialog, and I'm going to simply copy this line, and I'm going to paste this line here, and we are going to show this as FLD1. Okay, and then once we have this Z is stored, then the next thing I would like to do is I would like to maybe you can write here that FLD1.show, and then here you can create Z2, which is again going to be FLD selected item. So whatever I will select from that folder, that will also go there. Okay, now so we have to define, of course, Z2. So you can define here Z2 as well, Z2 as string, right? Now what we need to do is we need to declare then one more folder. So I just copy this entire stuff here, and I'm gonna paste it here, and we name it as my folder 2. This is going to act as my folder 2, and here obviously you will have to change this to as Z2. So you have the Z2 here. Okay, perfect. So the 2 folders are created for you, and now what you need to do is once you run this particular loop, this is for my folder, the next thing which you would like to do is you would like to again run the loop, and in that loop what you can do, you just define your folder 2 dot files. Okay, so my folder 2 dot files, and I would like to so it's creating a problem. What is the problem? My folder 2 episode.get folder Z2 is coming here, and my folder 2, let me just reset the code. Let me just write this again for each file in my folder, which is 2.files. Yeah, there we go, we got it. Okay, so these files will also get opened. So I will have all the files get they're going to open from here. And by the way, I don't think so you need to change this my file variable, just keep it one. This can be run for both the loops. So here I just give the comments, right? So the first loop will open all the workbooks from the first file, the dialog box, and the second loop is going to open the files from the second dialog box. So we can do the testing here right away. Let me just close this first of all, the PPT, and now let me run this quickly. So I click here, and first I select Ajay, which is on my desktop, and another file dialog is coming. Wow, perfect. So now I go to the D drive, and in the D drive I select my folder 1 and I click OK. And now let us see that if the files are going to be opened or not. And as you can see here, 3 files are open, then I have some more files, and there we go. I think all the files are getting opened. Excel cannot open the file A because the file format of the file extension is not valid. Well, I'll just see to that. First of all, let me close that. So now let's see how many files we have got in here. So we got the C file, we got the B file, we got the A file, perfect. And then didn't get the test 1, test 2 and test 3, right? That is strange. So I have to see that what's wrong with this. And maybe I can do one thing. Why don't we just go ahead and create file 2 as well? Let's keep them separate, to run the loop. So here I will say that for my file 2 in my folder, okay. And I realized my mistake as well. Actually this should have been 2, my file 2 path, right? So that is how, guys, this code is done. And let me simply go to the editor format, and let's increase the size so that you can see the video code properly. So this is all about the code right now. If I just maximize it, that's what we have done so far, right? So we have declared all this, and I can quickly go and cut, and I can put it everything here so that we can have a space. So that's how you can do that. I hope you know that. So just go ahead and write everything in one line, and then I'm gonna cut this as well, and I'm gonna put this here, okay. And what else is left? We have the set word as well here, and let me just cut this as well, and we're going to put this here, comma, and there we go. So we have a now space, and now I just show you this is how it is. And we can cut these lines as well. So I just go and cut this, and I'm gonna put it here, and I'm just going to cut this as well, and I'm going to put it here. I'll remove these errors, right? So everything is declared now, and what is left? So I just remove this dim file. So dim, I guess there's some mistake which we have done. I declared my file as okay, so I don't think so I need that. If I just run this, let me see. Okay, so here we have some problem. Alright, so I just forgot to write scripting.file, and that was the basically error which was coming. So you have all the files declared here, and now you can see the entire code, right? Now if I just quickly run this, let's have a look. So I'm gonna select first of all the folder 1. I click OK. This is in my D drive. The second folder is in my desktop. I go to my desktop. As you can see, I select folder Ajay and I click OK. Now this is the first file, second file, third file, fourth file, fifth file, and sixth file. Wow, great. All right, so and we will also have a look on this test 1, why it says that the file format is not valid. Anyways, we'll come to that a little later, but first of all I want to see that how many basically the files we have got in here. So the test is opened, test 2 is opened, test 1 is open, and so we have a problem here, guys. We are not able to pick up the D drive. So I want to see if I have any file here or not. Yes, I have the files here. So that's very strange. Actually, we should be able to get this. So I want to check my folder again. It is for each my file 2 in my folder, get these files open. All right, so I don't think so there's any should be any error. Z2 is there in my folder 2, because from here it will come. Yeah, that's the problem, guys. Look at this. That is why, because you see that is going to hold the file dialog 1, but the Z2 is designed for the file dialog 2. So that is why what was happening, because of this 2 which we missed, it was running the loop in the same folder basically, right? Because if Z2 is also going to show you the same folder, here you will have a problem in this line, because here Z2 will again show you the same desktop folder which was Ajay, and that is the reason I think was showing me on the read only mode as well, because you can't open the same file 2 times, right, if it is already open. So anyways, now let me run this and let us see variable not defined to variable not defined. All right, so I actually have done one more mistake, I think. Basically I declared this as fld2. So let's do one thing. Why don't we just go ahead and declare this as fld1 and fld2, and here I'm gonna make it fld2. Okay, right, and here we will write fld1 and fld2, and then uh, we're good to go with this. And yes, one is this fld1. Okay, perfect. Now let me run this. Basically I only defined the folder, so this is the first folder which is Ajay on my desktop. Another pop-up would come, guys, and I go to my D drive, and in the D drive now I pick up this folder 1 and I click OK. Now let us have a look. Files open, 3 files open, this is the 4th one, this is the 5th one, and this is the 6th one. Okay, so I still see that the file.a, the file format is not valid. Well, first of all, let me just see that how many files I've got. I got the A file, I got the B file, the A is also open, very nice, and again we have the same problem. So what is happening? This is bizarre, right? So we are not able to actually work on it. So let's go ahead and run this on the F8 mode. Then perhaps we would be able to find it out what is the reason. So first of all, I select the folder 1. Okay, now I select the folder which is on my desktop, and I'm gonna select this as Ajay. Okay, so I click OK. Now let us see what the Z says. The Z says Ajay, and what the Z says, yeah, that's a problem, guys. I got it. See that both are basically Z and Z2 are showing you Ajay, right? Despite the fact that I actually selected here FLD1. Okay, so what is the reason? Well, I think because the FL2.show, what is actually it is doing is it is overwriting the previous one, right? So maybe we can do one thing. I think the better way would be, why don't we just write these lines after showing this particular line. So for example, I just cut this line here. First we will store the value in the Z, and then in the Z I will have my folder, and that folder will be that folder is going to be passed on to this my folder, which is this line. So I just cut this line and I'm going to put it here. And by the way, this line FSO, I can declare it anywhere. Maybe I can declare it here as well. You can declare it. That's fine. Okay, the point is that once the folder, the dialog box comes, that value is going to be passed on to the Z, and then my folder will have that value, so it will preserve that value for you. Similarly, then after this we will have the folder 2 is going to show up. So I'm going to write here show, right, and then we're going to have this Z2 here, and then this value would come. So this is how this code should work for me. Let us go ahead and now let us see. So I run this code. The first dialog which is coming, I'm going to select Ajay. I click OK. Now when I run this, you see that this should be Ajay. Perfect. And I have got my Ajay folder. Now again the second pop-up would come. So in the second form, I go to my D drive and I pick up this folder 1 and I click OK. Now let's have a look. So what you have in the Z2. Now look at this. This says folder 1. This says folder 1, and this is folder Ajay. So you have here C drive user desktop Ajay, and you have here drive folder 1. Perfect, guys. So that was the actually mismatch we were getting. So if I just gonna run this, let me see now. Gonna open the file. What is the first file it has opened? You can see test1. There's a one more file which is test2, and you can see test2 is also open. I've got another file which is test3. Now it goes to the next. Now in the next, what it should do is it should open it should go in the the folder which is which you can see here, the drive folder. So now I should have my A file getting opened in the background. The A is open, now the B is going to be open, and now the C is going to be open and there is no error this time, the error which we were actually experiencing, the read-only error. So you have the C file open, you have the B file open. So guys, I think it's better because I did not edit this video. When you're gonna watch this video, this where the code where we got stuck actually, and we were not able to identify what was the reason it was not opening all the 6 files because of this proper structure, right, which I later corrected running it on the F8 mode. So I think it's a good learning for all of us. You should also know that how the things happen. Right now, once you have all the workbooks open, then what you can do is either you can write here, that's all up to you, or maybe you can write another macro. So here I will write compile now data. So what I will do, I will write compile data. This is another macro which I'm going to create here, and now this macro, what it will do is it will simply go in this. So enter here and let us start the macro here. So this macro will compile the data. You can write everything in the same macro as well, that's all up to you, but I will write it in different. So I define here the collection loop. If you remember, that's what we wanted to do for each workbook in workbooks. This is how you write. Now what will happen, this loop specifically works on the workbooks which are opened. This is not gonna work on the closed workbooks, guys, right? So whatever Excel files you have opened, it will work there. So making sure, tell the user that when they're gonna run this code, no extra file should be open. Okay, once this file gets opened, what you need to do is you will start your loop and you will write here this workbook. First of all, you come back to your own workbook from where you're going to run the macros. This workbook.activate will do that, because when you have 6 files opened, 6 Excel files opened, you never know on which file your active window would be. So it is very important that we should be first coming back to our original workbook, and then we will write the code. So here now what you need to do is, because you want to compile the data in this data sheet, for example, let us say, so now you're going to define your the worksheet as well. So I'll just define here that ws as worksheet. This is how you define, and then give the name ws equals to, and then this workbook, and then write the sheet name. So I'm going to write here the sheet name as data. Okay, now the loop will run, and obviously you don't want to run the loop in this data validation, because you want to compile the data from the other open workbooks and put it here. You don't want to compile the data from this workbook, right? So what I will do, I will write here that if the workbook name is not equals to this workbook name, then please go ahead and run the loop and compile the data. So we will write here then what we need to do, then further you will go ahead and run the loop which is for each worksheet in worksheet. This is fantastic, right? Because once you have the workbook open, then you will have to loop through all the sheets one by one, because you want to compile the data. So for that you will have to declare here one more object variable which is going to be worksheet. Okay, so for your looping concept should be very much clear if you're watching this video. So we're going to write here for each worksheet in worksheet, and then what will happen, we're going to select the worksheet one by one, and then I'm going to go on the range A1. From the A1 I select that cell, and then I use this line which is range, and then I'm going to select selection comma selection dot end excel to right dot select. Okay, what this line will do is, this is basically your control shift right arrow, which is to select the data, and then you're gonna write here the same for the Excel down. So you write here Excel down, control shift down arrow. Okay, so let me just put one more bracket here. Okay, perfect. Now once you have selected the entire data, you would like to copy it. So I'm talking about this thing. For example, if I just show you, this is the file. Once this file is going to be opened, what do you want to do, right? The file is already open in the previous macro, and now you would like to go to every sheet one by one. Maybe you can have here 3 sheets, 4 sheets, I never know, right? So I'm making it dynamic, right? So it goes here and it goes in the A1 control shift right arrow and then control shift down arrow. So this exactly what I have written here, these two codes. So once the data is there, we're going to simply copy the data. So I just write a selection.copy, and then I will come back to my workbook, I'm gonna activate this workbook. And then once you're back on your workbook, what you want to do, you never know that on which line you would be after pasting the data from the first file, right? So what we will do is we will go here, maybe in this 1 million row, and then we use the control up arrow and we just use this. We come to the next line. So if you have a data, for example, this is your previous data which you have pasted, next time what will happen, your code will go here and it uses control up arrow. Control up arrow takes you to the last value, and then from there you can come one cell down. So this, the line which we're going to write for that is would look like this. So I'm going to write here that range, and then from the range, let us say I write here 1 million, okay, and then dot end excel up dot offset go to the next blank cell. I select this and then I write here that active cell dot paste special. And then what you want to do, you want to paste the format or the values. I can choose whatever I want to. I want to paste it as a value and then as a format as well. I want to keep the format. So in my case there is no format. You can do that in that way. So once the data is pasted, what it has to do, it has to go back to the next worksheet. So I'll write here next WS. Okay, so and I'm going to write here else and if. Else and if means that do nothing. If your workbook name is going to be this workbook dot name, which is data validation, then it should not do anything, right? It should go to the next workbook, so it should activate the next workbook. That is the the logic over here. So and yes, you should write here next WS as well, next worksheet. So guys, this is what we have done so far. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the break code here or maybe here, and first of all we will let us get all the files open. So let's just go ahead and run the code. I'm going to select the folder 1, I click OK, and in the another folder which is on my desktop, I select the folder Ajay and I click OK, right? Now all the files should get opened. And this is a very practical kind of a case study we are doing. In fact all the videos I try to make them quite genuine, just not for the sake of getting the clicks, because this, as a MIS person, whether you are in the HR MIS, you're in the finance, you are a proper MIS, have a MIS background, you are in MIS analytics, where I spent my 8 years, and or you're a business analyst role, this is something which is very common, and this can give you a nightmare if you don't know how to do it, because manually something like this if you're doing it, it can create a problem, right? So let us go, and now it will go in the compile data and duplication declaration. So I guess okay, so this is already declared on the top, this WS. So at invalid next control. All right, so I'm seeing here a lot of errors. Let me see that. What is the error? All right, so this I forgot, it has to be WB actually, because WB is for my workbook, right? So this is my code basically, guys, in front of you, and this is what we're gonna run it. Let me just increase the height of it. So let's go ahead, and basically this is your code. Okay, so this is where you are. I start the code. There we go. I hope no error now. Yeah, so this workbook dot activate. Now you see that the last workbook which was opened was test 3, but before you run the loop you got to go back. This is very important. So when you run it, back on your data validation, and now you define your worksheet, which is data. Now this is gonna run the loop for each workbook in workbooks one by one. This is the first workbook. If you look at this, is data validation, and obviously this workbook dot name will also give you the same name, because this workbook means that the code where you have written which workbook is that. So we are writing this code obviously in the module which is a part of data validation, so both the files are same, so it will go in the else mode, doing nothing, right? Now the turn for the next workbook. So the next workbook is a.xlsx, which we got it open from the file dialog. So it is going to be activated. You see that it is activated. Now for each worksheet in worksheet, this will loop through all the worksheets, active worksheets, the existing worksheets of this workbook called A. Well, we have only one, so the loop will run only one time. So I go here, you can see that the data is copied, and now we will be back on our this. Now this will take me to the second file because we are seeing that offset as one row, right? So later you can use this first row for the header as well. So you paste the data here, you paste the format here. Time for the next worksheet. You remember that worksheet wasn't there. Okay, there was no worksheet actually opened. So what you can do is you run this, it will come out of this for next worksheet. And now before it goes to the next workbook, you can do one thing here. Why don't you just close that workbook here? Okay, so you can write here that close, and you can write here the save changes. Would you like to do any changes here? Well, I don't want to do any changes here, so I just write here false. Okay, now before I do that further, I want to check also that what is basically the name I'm gonna get from that workbook, because it should not happen that the code is going to close my current data validation, which is very wrong, right? So I want to first check that what is the name is gonna come. So yeah, it is coming a.xlsx, right? Because when you ran this loop workbook.activate, if you remember that workbook which we got activated was a. So from here it is gonna close. Now look at this, the moment I run this, this should get closed, this A1. So if I run this, let us wait. You see that, guys, how beautifully the file is closed. Perfect. So now I'm gonna run this again. Now what is it done for the next workbook? What is the next workbook? Next workbook is B. So it is going to activate the next workbook. And now the loop will run here as well again. So I copy the data, and now you go back and you paste the data in the data validation. You see the format is done, and next worksheet, there's no another worksheet. I just created one worksheet for every workbook. So message box would come for the B, and then it is going to be closed. And then I don't need this message box now. So let's run the code quickly. Now I'm gonna activate the C. You can see in the background the C is coming. So this is going to copy the data. I'm gonna paste the data back in the data validation. Then this is also going to be closed. And then the another one is test one. So I run this quickly. The data is going to be pasted here, and then again another workbook is test2. Now this is going to be copied, and I'm going to have the data here pasted. Perfect. Workbook is getting closed, and now the another workbook, which is test3, which is I think the last workbook. So the data is going to be copied. This entire line will use the control up arrow and then one cell down, which will make it, which will make the A31 active. So we have the data pasted here, and I think now we are not left with any other file, and that is the reason the macro is stopped. So this is the macro, guys, which we have created. You can see here, right? Many of you ask me that, if the code is available. So guys, so far I'm not making these codes available, but I think because I try to explain so much in my videos, it's better you pause the video and you just write the code yourself, because that's going to give you very amount of confidence, and you will also love the coding, right? So this is the first part, and now what you can do is I'll just scroll it down, and now again you can pause the video, and this is the second part. So this entire code is gonna make your work so easy. Okay? So that's it for now, and I hope you can utilize this in your office projects as well. And if you have any questions, let me know about it. And thanks for subscribing to the channel. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching.